so I did a full face of makeup, so hopefully I don't cry. But I also have a box of tissues, just in case I do, you know. That's just optimism. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, you know. Hello, hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met already, hello, hi, the name's Quinn. It's very nice to meet you. This channel, I normally talk about budgeting, and recently I started talking about wedding planning. But as you can see from the title of this video, my wedding is now canceled. It's still so weird saying that out loud. If I'm laughing and smiling a lot, it's you know, just the coping mechanism of having to say like my wedding's canceled. Oh my goodness, it's such a weird situation to go through. It's heartbreaking. The reason why the wedding is canceled is because of the recent hysteria and pandemic around the COVID-19 virus. This is like so weird to try to have to like explain, and it feels just so, it doesn't feel right having to say it, but like it's what's happening. Yes, okay, the wedding is canceled. Brian and I are still getting married though. We are going to go and just have as quick of a ceremony as we can. We're gonna go get our marriage license. We're gonna just have a small little ceremony just in front of our parents at one of our churches down in San Diego. And that's gonna be next week. Oh my goodness, this is so wild. Okay, so as you can see, like I'm not wearing my wedding ring right now. I've talked about it in previous videos before, but if this is your first time like meeting me and seeing me and hearing the story, one of the stones fell out a couple months ago, and I went to go and send the ring in to get it fixed. I made a mistake and I didn't follow all of the like procedures to make sure that it can get back to me properly. So I'm now getting my engagement ring back with my wedding ring when we get married. So I mean, like, I'm really excited to be getting married so soon. But okay, anyways, I have notes here to keep my train of thoughts on track because already I'm just going crazy. Right now I'm filming this on my phone as normal. There's laundry going on in the background, so you might be hearing the dryer going off. But yeah, my wedding's canceled. It was a very, very emotional weekend. I was going crazy. I was crying so much. There's so many emotions for me tied to this wedding. Obviously, like any person tied to their wedding, any bride, any groom, like parents, anybody, there's emotions tied to the wedding. I was the first one getting married in my family. This was the first wedding we were gonna have. We have videos. I have videos talking about the wedding before, showing you around my parents' ranch, and we said we were gonna change it into a venue and everything. And it was gonna be really cool, and it was gonna be really awesome. And then I recently did a video, a cook and chat with me, where I talk about the wedding planning process and like the struggles that we've been having trying to plan the wedding. So it is honestly almost like a blessing that it has to get canceled because there is so much stress going into it. I'm sorry, I'm like really distracted by the own glare in my glasses. I should just take them off. It's fine, I'm not like needing to drive right now, so we're good. Basically, today is Wednesday the 18th. Yes, Wednesday the 18th. Almost a week ago on Friday, my fiance Brian and I started talking about how we were going to have to start cutting down the wedding, in a sense. That's kind of when social distancing, like people were starting to talk about that more. People were, I'm gonna see if I can close the door. Okay, just close the laundry door. As I was saying, what was I saying? Yeah, so a week ago, it was really just people were freaking out about washing your hands, and social distancing was starting to become a thing. Restaurants were still running, people were still going out. So we basically started preparing. We have an email thread of just drafts of email that we would send out to our guest list as more and more things started happening, of being like, okay, we're first just gonna send out a message that says, hey, with all the growing concerns of everything going on, we completely understand if you don't feel comfortable coming, or if you're not able to make the trip. This is kind of like a destination wedding. My family's ranch is an hour to 3 hour to 4 hour drive for most of our guests. So we were like, hey, if you can't come, like, we understand. Unfortunately, we can't postpone it because we plan on moving like 2 days after the wedding, so we really couldn't postpone it. I guess now with everything going on, like I can tell you the dates. Before I was like not saying when everything was gonna be for privacy reasons, but screw it. Now I'm just gonna, like I guess I'll just tell you. So the wedding was gonna initially be Saturday, April 4th. We had plans on, getting married on April 4th. We're just gonna go to an Airbnb here in town for like a couple days and then start gathering everything to move on April 6th. He still has some like big things down in San Diego, like his drum kit and like washer and dryer down in San Diego. So we were gonna need to get a trailer, load everything up, go down to San Diego, and then start driving out to Nashville. We were just gonna drive out to Nashville. Basically, that road trip out to Nashville, moving, was gonna kind of be our honeymoon. Initially, we wanted to have like a bigger honeymoon, like going to Thailand is what I really wanted to do because it's relatively cheaper and it's just really beautiful. But then as more things started coming up financially, just even before everything with the virus is happening, we realized like, maybe we'll just hold off like having like a going somewhere honeymoon and just go ahead and do the road trip. So for those reasons, like we couldn't postpone. I had talked previously about how Brian's job, he's in the entertainment industry, like he was just gonna be swamped. Like he wasn't gonna have any free time afterwards to us even plan to have a wedding, like, and then having to fly all the way across the country again. Basically, it was gonna end up being like, if we were to postpone the wedding, it would be a year from now. And we're like, we don't want to wait a year from now. So a week ago, on Friday, we were prepared to basically say we're still having the wedding. Because at the time, the max capacity that people were issuing was 250 people for gatherings, and our wedding was just under 100. So we're like, okay, we're still at like half of what is healthy, so we'll be fine. Totally understand. Really bummed, really upsetting that people wouldn't be able to come because of the virus, especially like grandparents. Oh, that still is like the worst thing. But especially like grandparents and like older families or families that have to travel from across the country. We understand, but unfortunately, like we can't really postpone. So we're still gonna have the wedding. On Saturday, we started talking about sending out that email this coming Saturday, so in like 3 more days. Basically, it was gonna be 2 weeks before the wedding in case anybody did feel uncomfortable. They'd have enough time to cancel Airbnbs, hotels, flights, like whatever they needed to cancel. But we wanted to wait a week to see how the country was gonna be and see if we even really needed to send it or if we needed to modify it to put more restrictions on things, which ended up happening. So let's see, these are my notes. So Saturday, we had to write out that message like we understand, but we still are gonna have the wedding. We appreciate everyone who can come, and we appreciate all of you guys for even wanting to come. And then on Sunday, so 3-4 days ago, came home from working at the coffee shop, and I was talking to Brian, and we were kind of just like, I honestly at that point was like, I almost hope and wish that they just shut down all gatherings, because like at that point, like everything was so conflicting. Like I had fallen in love with the idea of having a wedding, and I just picked up my wedding dress from being altered. I still haven't tried it on. It's still in my car right now. I haven't put it back on yet. But I was like still really excited about having a wedding. And Brian and I were talking, and then suddenly the CDC and the president announces that gatherings of 50 or more should be canceled or rescheduled 8 weeks from now. So that included funerals and weddings and just like any event gathering. And that's kind of like when I broke down and started crying, because I was like, this is it. Everything is canceled. Like we couldn't have a wedding. I mean, at that point we were like, okay, we could still have like an intimate gathering of a wedding, and then maybe a year from now have a big reception type of party of being like, at that point we knew that like everybody would understand if a year from now we had to have a party of being like, now we're celebrating, because we literally lawfully almost couldn't celebrate a year ago, which is now. So we were like, okay, we're just gonna try to have like an intimate ceremony, which is like honestly perfectly fine too. It was really hard at that moment during that conversation to get me on board for that. And even Brian was saying like, with all these ideas of him trying to find ways to still make things happen, to still keep me happy with like having like the wedding. He even was like, right now you sound really hard to please, so we'll just have to talk about this later. I'm like, yeah, it is really hard to please me right now, like, because an hour ago I just was told that we had to cancel our wedding. Like, it is hard. I was like, honestly, we had so many ideas that we were coming up with. It was like, we're gonna have an intimate wedding, just me, him, immediate family, and like our closest friends, which is basically our bridal party, or just go and elope and come back later, you know, visit his family in San Diego, my family up here, and just do a little like a victory tour afterwards and see everybody. We just couldn't see our grandparents, both of which were like fine ideas. At the time though, it was so hard for me to sound excited for any of them. And it's definitely been really hard, him not being here when all of this is happening, because if you guys don't know, he currently lives in Nashville. Oh my goodness. This is me running out of breath while talking. So then we had to adjust the email, basically, the message out to our guest list, and say we aren't postponing the wedding because we still are trying to move out to Nashville right afterwards, and everything still applies, still can't really stick around in California for 8 weeks. We were just going to have an intimate wedding with our family. It was definitely kind of like a sigh of relief, as I had mentioned in that last video when I was talking about everything. I was like, now instead of trying to plan and build like this bigger venue, it was just gonna be kind of like a small backyard wedding, and my backyard's kind of pretty because there's mountains and it's nice. So we're like, okay, this is fine. Like the next day, Monday, I was like, okay, I'm so on board. That sounds great, sounds amazing. We'll have the only the important people there, which, you know, I was still kind of bummed because in all honesty, this wedding was also kind of like my last hurrah goodbye to everybody, because like I said, we're moving. We're probably not gonna be able to come back to California for another year. And so this was kind of like my last chance to hang out with everyone, all my friends, like all of my friends, everybody, meet all of his friends, and just like last time to do that. But now the wedding is just gonna be like an intimate ceremony. And then Monday came. While I was typing up the email, the final like draft of what we were sending of saying we're having just an intimate ceremony, then we got news that the CDC and President Trump were saying that any gatherings or events of 10 or more should be avoided. And I was just like, ha! Ha ha! Of course! I was like straight up laughing. I was just like, ha, of course. Freaking course. Now the wedding, even the intimate ceremony, is canceled. That's great. And at that point I was just like, great, cool, love it. Nothing's happening at this point. We're just gonna go and sign papers, essentially, was what was gonna happen. I was at work. I was at the coffee shop working. It was dead slow, so I could be on like my computer and my phone at the time and be like talking about everything. My parents were there, so I was talking with them about it happening, and we're like, oh, kizzy, like there's no wedding now. There's no wedding now. It was great. Oh my goodness. Do you see what I'm doing right now? Like, this was my haha. Yeah, of course. Oh, there's no wedding. Oh my goodness. Honestly, I keep saying like honestly, but like honestly, the entire kind of downfall, like it was quick, but it was slow, like day after day of like hits getting more and more. If I didn't find out about the whole gradual groups getting smaller and smaller throughout the weekend, then by Monday, when I was finally like, it's 10 or less people, that probably would have been like the worst feeling to have gone through at that moment for me. On one hand, it's really weird to be like, oh no, I had to cancel my wedding during a virus when people are dying. But like, that's not, oh God, like that's exactly like what it can sound like. And I know it sounds so bad. It could be so bad. But, you know, for the city that I live in right now, it's not a lot of people are being super affected by it, by getting sick. People are getting sick, and like things are getting better for people who do have the virus. And I really do feel and pray for the people that are affected by it, but this is the way that I'm being affected by it, and that's my wedding being canceled, which was supposed to be the biggest day of my life. And I mean, it's still like a really big day. Like now I'm officially marrying. I cross my fingers because like the courthouses could get closed. But now I'm officially marrying Brian, so it's still like a really great and exciting day. But it's like, the dream wedding of like what I envisioned, was canceled, and it's kind of like, oh, that sucks. So it was kind of weird because like I knew it was happening. I filmed that cash envelope video on Sunday, and in it I was like, I'm putting my money for my wedding, because at the time like the wedding was still happening. It was just going to be immediate family. And then Monday I uploaded it, and it was either Monday or yesterday. Monday I uploaded it, and that was when I found out like, nope, wedding has to be canceled. Like we're just gonna go and elope now. Basically elope, just sign the papers. So now it's decided what we're gonna do. This is like the craziest thing. When it was all finding out that 10 or more people wasn't like, not that it wasn't allowed, but really looked down upon, like, hey, you guys should avoid gatherings of 10 or more. Brian started calling up like every courthouse, essentially, like every facility that you can go and get a marriage license from San Diego, Kern County, which is where I'm living, San Diego County, Kern County, and San Bernardino County, and basically everything was closed. San Bernardino County, which is Southern California area, was like, they are not taking applications for anything. Like all of their courthouses, I keep saying courthouses, but I don't think that's what it's called. But basically, they're all closed. They are closing their doors to the public for the next few weeks, which again, I totally understand. But it was like, okay, great. And the next chance that Brian saw that we could go ahead and get our license was on Monday the 23rd. So not even a week from now. Basically, the day that we found out that we were gonna have to cancel the wedding and started trying to plan and figure out how we're gonna elope, a week from then, we're gonna be married. And it was like, okay, like a couple days before we were 3 weeks from like our wedding, and then we had to find out that everything had to get canceled, and now we're a week from our wedding. And it was insane. Like emotionally, I couldn't feel like super excited because like emotionally I was still like broken over having to cancel my wedding. And then mentally, I was just trying to figure out like how to even have like a legal wedding. So that's like where my headspace and my heart was in that moment. And I had Tuesday yesterday to try to like work through things mentally and like talk through things emotionally and like figure out what was happening. And so I waited until today, Wednesday, to film this video when it was like, cool, yes, I'm stoked, I'm excited, like this is actually happening. And now I can talk about it, you know, and not to be crying. Because I didn't want to cry in this video, even though it is I keep scratching my face because I have like baby hairs coming out everywhere. But it is definitely an emotional thing. So now the plan is Monday, we're gonna go to the courthouse, get our license, sign everything that needs to be signed, and then we're gonna go to one of our churches like a couple hours later, either the church that he went to when we were in San Diego or the church that I went to. Preferably the church that he went to because they have a really pretty like stained glass window there. I'm still gonna be able to wear my wedding dress, which I was very emotional about my wedding dress, and I was like, I'm not gonna wear it. That thing was meant to be worn for a wedding. Like, I'm not gonna wear my wedding dress. I'm just gonna wear pants and like a white shirt. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Like, that wedding dress was meant for a wedding, and this isn't a wedding. It was a very emotional night, Sunday night. We even talked about going to the glider port, which is where he proposed in San Diego, and having it there. And I was even still just like, this wedding's too fancy for the beach. Like, this dress is too fancy for the beach. I don't want to wear it. Like, I was emotionally gone on Sunday. Like, I feel so bad for Brian because he's very like logically thinking, and so it was like, cool, take the hurt, take the pain, move on, try to figure out what to do next. Whereas I was just like, I'm drowning in the pain. Sunday night was rough. So now it's like, okay, cool. We're just gonna go to the church afterwards, have my pastor who did our premarital counseling with us. We even did like some just couples counseling in a sense before we were even engaged, just to make sure that our relationship was like nice and solid. And so he's been great. He's been amazing. I absolutely love and adore him. So he's gonna do the officiating of our wedding. We're gonna go to this church our parents are gonna be there, and one of our friends to take photos. And that's basically that. We're gonna stay in San Diego for a couple more days because I do have an orthodontist appointment on Wednesday the 25th. Your girl's gotta work on this crackhead smile. And yeah, then we're gonna head back up here to the ranch and stay here for a couple days, pack everything up, and then God willing, literally God willing, California is not shut down. We could leave the States and drive over to Nashville. There is definitely like a slight fear of the whole martial law because San Francisco already is in like, I don't remember what it's called, but basically home enclosure. Like you can't really leave your house. So especially with San Diego being a bigger city, in a bigger county, driving through LA, like to get up here to the ranch, a lot of things happening in California that's kind of crazy, and we're basically afraid in a sense of getting stuck in California. Not that it'd be bad, like living here at the ranch is really great. You could farm here, we have eggs and areas to plant vegetables. You can homestead, but we're still paying for a house out in Nashville. Brian doesn't have any opportunity to make money here in Tehachapi. He'd have to try to get a job basically at the Home Depot or Walmart. Not that that's bad, but they are basically fully staffed. If anything, they're probably needing to understaff or like cut staff because no one's leaving the house. So with everything, like he has definitely a higher chance of, even during this time of crisis, finding a job for himself and money in Nashville. Which, his money situation, like everything is crazy. Initially, like I was, and I kept saying like, I'm gonna film a video where I talk about how we're gonna combine our finances, and then all the crazy stuff that was happening with his job because of the COVID-19 things. And then we had to cancel the wedding, and I was like, okay, let me talk about this first before I talk about that stuff. And that was gonna be a really fun video. Like I was gonna make my own wedding cake, so I needed to practice making it, and I was like, cool, I'll make that a video, talk about some money stuff, talk about some job stuff, like how I'm gonna make money, my thoughts of how I'm gonna make money, and like how Brian's making money, and all this other things. But now the wedding's not happening, so I was like, I should talk about this first. Oh, I wrote down hair annoyance because, oh my goodness. So quick girl talk really quickly. As I said, the wedding was gonna be April 4th, and I have an orthodontist appointment next week down in San Diego on Wednesday the 25th. And so I was like, you guys see my hair. I haven't cut it in years at this point, and I purposely haven't cut it in years for the wedding because I was like, I know I'm gonna get married, I know I'm gonna get wifed up, I want to have like a nice little balayage going on for my wedding day. And because of that, knowing my hair, it's Asian, like it could end up, and it's thin, they're gonna need to cut off some inches, but I still wanted to have long hair, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna grow my hair out. I've been planning this ever since 7th grade. I've always cut and dyed my own hair. That was like scissors to my hair was what I did when I got bored. Like I was that scene kid with the weird layers and like the froopy bangs because that's just what I did. And I always had red in my hair or purple or bleach. I was always doing stuff to my hair. So for the past 2 years, I have been like holding off touching my hair because I was like, I want a professional to do it for my wedding, and I know they're gonna probably have to cut some inches off, and I'm fine with that. So when I found out that we were getting married before my hair appointment, I was like, no, like I wanted my hair to be done, like even if it's just for in front of our family, in front of our parents, like I want it to be done. So I messaged my hairstylist who I've been following on Instagram for a while, and I was like, hey, I promise I'm not canceling, as I'm sure she's probably had a lot of people cancel. But I'm like, I promise I'm not canceling, but is there a way I can move it sooner, because now the wedding is a lot sooner and the official marriage wedding is a lot sooner. She, thank God, is the biggest sweetheart, and she's just like, yeah, totally. How's this Thursday? And so now I'm going tomorrow and getting my hair done, which is exciting. But that's my little girly talk of being like, oh my gosh, my hair. Last time I mentioned anything about like my appearance, somebody called me an airhead, and I'm like, really? Okay, I understand though. Yeah, so that's what's happening. If everyone's okay with it, when I say everyone, I mean Brian and my family, I will probably film the process of us going to the courthouse, just not even for like YouTube, but to be like, hey, let's document this because this is crazy. I've mentioned this before, but my parents went and eloped. Like they were in Vegas. Their reasoning was because their parents and their moms got way too crazily involved in the wedding planning process that they were like, hey, y'all are crazy. We're going to Vegas. If you want to come, come. So now they're eloped. They're gonna probably have like a renewal of vows ceremony here at the ranch in a couple years, and now we're eloping. So I think that's the story. I think that's everything. I feel like there was a couple other things that I wanted to touch on. I'm probably gonna remember by the time I stop filming this, but I've been filming for like 30 minutes already, so whew. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, man. Let me put my glasses back on. Still getting married, hopefully officially married. If the courthouse is closed down and we're not able to legally get married and get like the license and everything on that date, we're still planning on going to the church and at least getting married under like the eyes of God and everything, and like having those kind of like commitments. That's our own personal religious reasons and everything. I think because of like the plans of moving, we're not, and it's just everything happening, like we really don't want to wait. That was kind of like the underlying thing with us having like a quick engagement, was that we didn't want to wait. I have had, I think, a couple people say in the comments, and my dad said it to somebody, was that we're planning our wedding around me moving to Nashville, which is not the case. We planned me moving to Nashville around the wedding. We wanted to have a short engagement. We had kind of in mind of getting married around the spring, so it was either late March through to early May, so anytime in April. And after we were like planning everything, it was like April 4th. Sounds like a great time. 4/4/2020. Easy peasy. And then I can move right afterwards, because like basically that was kind of how it was. But now it's gonna be 3/20/3/20. So it's still kind of cute. Fingers crossed. God, please pray for us that it actually can happen. Like, that would be great. So this is my state of mind and being when I'm going through like a stressful time, of me just being like, crack some jokes and laugh and try to just talk through what's happening. Yeah, it's been a weird weekend. Anyways, so that's the video. That's the story of what happened to our wedding and why it's canceled, but we're still getting married. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, pray to God. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more of my face and see me try to conquer the human race, go ahead and subscribe. You can find me at all of my social media at QuinneKalyn. You can chat, DM me. We can become best friends. Send me memes. Like, seriously, send me memes. People so far aren't sending me memes, and I love a good meme. I think they're great, especially if they revolve around dogs. Like, prime peak comedy. Christian memes? Whew, like in-depth peak comedy. I love and appreciate you guys oh so very much. Like, I love you guys so much. If I could just group hug everyone right now. Group hug. And I will see you in the next video. Bye! Am I out of frame? I don't think I'm out of frame. I think you can still see. Yep, hi. Okay, that's my crunch for the year. Yay, bye.